Hello everyone, my name is Wojciech Waśniewski and you're listening to the Participation Coaching podcast, where I try to explore effective non-performance coaching. So how do we coach beginner, junior and recreational players? My guest today is Paul Aitkins. He's a Regional Development Officer at the Golf Foundation, which is an organization with a sole aim to develop junior golf in England, Scotland and Wales. And they do quite a lot in that regard, as we find out during the interview. We discuss what they do as a foundation, as an organization, as well as some specific tips and tricks that Paul has learned while working for the foundation. Some of the things we discuss are what is the Golf Foundation and the story behind it, what are the regional development officers as well, how to develop junior pathways in 3 stages that Paul talks about, which is start, learn and stay. We talk about the various services, products, programs and solutions that the Golf Foundation provides for coaches, including box of tricks, a junior action plan, try golf and street golf equipment, funding, junior golf passport, various educational workshops, or the Girls Golf Rocks program. There's quite a bit going on. But we also discuss specific ideas on how to grow a junior program, how to get kids into coaching sessions and how to later retain them in the golf club. We spent quite a bit of time on school coaching, how to do it effectively and why it doesn't always bring the results that people are expecting to get out of school promotion. We discuss different ideas on how to promote the program apart from school coaching. Paul shares various playing, social and skill development opportunities that coaches can provide for kids. Those are part of the box of tricks that the development officers can run as a workshop at golf clubs. We discuss effective marketing of a junior academy, as well as the importance of key decision makers, which in the case of junior golf are the parents, so how to get directly to them. And we also talk about what makes a successful junior coach, and at the same time what might make an unsuccessful junior coach, what traits they share. This episode will be particularly useful for coaches based in England, Scotland and Wales, as that's where the Golf Foundation is based. However, I think it's still very practical for coaches, coach educators and golf developers in general worldwide, as we do talk about specific tips and tricks to effectively grow a junior golf program. Hope you enjoy my interview with Paul Aitkins. So Paul, who are you and what's Golf Foundation?
My name's Paul Aitkins. I'm a golf pro that works for a children's golf charity called the Golf Foundation, and I'm one of the regional development officers, and I'm based within the West Midlands of England. So I cover 5 counties, which include Warwickshire, Worcestershire, Shropshire, Herefordshire and Staffordshire. So my main role within my job is to go around and work with as many of those golf clubs within those 5 counties as possible, to help them develop junior pathways to get kids starting to play golf, and then learning golf at the golf club, and then them staying within golf, so trying to retain them within golf, whether that be through affiliated membership to the golf club, or an academy style type membership, which is obviously non-affiliated. So that's kind of my everyday bread and butter. But then within that also we work with county sports partnerships, they're known as here in England. So I work with them to help them deliver their they run like summer festivals, which is basically the easiest way to describe it is it's a big sports day for primary school children and secondary school children, and they have the ability to play a load of sports. And one of our products that we have for the Golf Foundation, Try Golf, which is short plastic clubs. Golf is one of the sports used within school games, and Try Golf is the particular form of golf that they use within that. So I help county sports partnerships to deliver them across the counties that I work in. And then we also work on a more bigger scale or kind of global scale. We work with the RNA to deliver junior-based sessions at the Opens. So if ever you go to the British Open or the Open, however you want to call it, you'll find us there delivering tri golf and street golf, which is our secondary school offer. You'll find us there delivering that. So any kids that come to the Open, they can come along and have a go at any of those activities that we're running on stand. So we normally run that from Sunday to Sunday. So we're there for the whole week, open from pretty much when the gates open to when the gates closed. We'll be there delivering. And then we're also at the BMW PGA Championships as well at Wentworth. You'll find us there delivering similar stuff, but it's we have a slightly smaller area, so it's only predominantly tri golf that we deliver. And we've previously also delivered at the British Masters. So we were at the Grove, not last year, the year before. So we delivered at that as well, which was kind of a similar setup to what we have at Wentworth.
That's a lot going on. So what's the story of the foundation? So you clearly support junior golf in all kinds of ways. How did it get started?
Yeah, sure. So a bit of background information. I've actually got the website up in front of me here, which is www.golf-foundation.org. So if anybody's interested in finding out a bit more about us, then they can go to that website. But it was basically set up by Sir Henry Cotton, kind of back in and around 1950, between 1951 and 1953, with the main aim of trying to get younger kids or children or students under the age of 18 to basically have an experience of golf, to give them the opportunity to try it, to see if it was something that they would like to pursue. And then that was kind of how the Golf Foundation was then set up. And obviously, as the years have progressed, how society's changed, how lifestyles have changed, kind of we've grown into be this charity that really try and cover a whole lot of areas within junior golf to try and provide the opportunity for as many young people as possible to enjoy playing golf, but then also seeing what are the personal benefits of being able to play golf. So trying to introduce them to some of the the social aspects that golf has, and kind of how golf can really be a tool to try and change people's lives and certainly get them working towards something or being in a sport that will engage them for a long period of time. I know from my personal experience, if I hadn't have played golf, I wouldn't have gone to university, I wouldn't have moved over to England, and I wouldn't have this job I have now. So I kind of don't really know what I would be doing kind of without golf. So that's kind of who we are as a charity. And we're really aiming to get kids, as I mentioned before, we're really aiming to get young people to start golf. So that would be kind of the initial experience. So we work with pros and county sports partnerships to get kids starting golf, giving them that initial experience, and then we aim to help pros to get young people back to their golf clubs, and then moving into our learn phase. So we try and help golf pros to get kids learning golf at the golf club, and then also obviously trying to get kids to stay within the sport. So we've got kind of the saying start, learn, stay.
And what's your role like day to day? What do you find yourself doing most of this? Because that's your job full time, isn't it?
Yeah, full time. I've got a coaching business on the side, but yeah, my full time job is this as the development officer. So yeah, kind of my day to day stuff is going out and visiting golf clubs across the region that I work in, and that would be meeting with the professional, the junior organisers or the junior coordinators within those golf clubs, general managers, club secretaries, men's captains, women's captains, meeting with them to kind of try and get junior golf kind of to be a forefront within their thinking as a whole within the golf club. And trying to demonstrate to them, that we need juniors playing golf to obviously keep the game going and help the game grow, but also to provide, importantly, a living for that golf pro, and also to show the club that, you know, your golf club is a better place when you've got young people within that. Whether that be them playing in competitions, you know, helping to create a better atmosphere within the clubhouse or within the facility, and also from a financial point of view, because obviously young people, they're going to want the best equipment, or they're going to come up to the golf club or the facility and they're going to want to buy drinks, or they're going to want to have something to eat. So also trying to kind of promote that secondary spend that comes along with juniors, to get the golf clubs thinking about them. And I'll go in along with a representative from England Golf, because as a charity we work in partnership with England Golf and the PGA. So a lot of my meetings will take place, and we'll have they're called the club support officer from England Golf. So a lot of my meetings, I'll have the club support officer from England Golf within each county, and they'll come with me to the meetings, and we'll do a joint meeting to help that golf club really get junior golf kind of thriving and growing, within their facility.
Mm-hmm. And what have you found during those meetings to be like the most common, let's say, argumentation against junior golf? So why do people say that we don't have a thriving junior golf program?
The most common ones I see, and they might differ depending on which region you're in within the country. Even though England's quite a small place, I've certainly noticed anyway, you do have regional or county differences. But the most common ones you hear are, well, the juniors, they'll play golf and then you'll lose them. You know, they'll go to university or they'll move away and you'll never see them again. Maybe at some more kind of typically old-fashioned golf clubs, you hear the kind of things that some maybe more of the older generation don't necessarily want to see juniors on the golf course. Other clubs will say that they don't bring in any revenue to the club, and then you'll also what you tend to find, and what I find a lot is you've got golf pros. So the golf pro within that golf club doing a fantastic job, doing outreach work using Try Golf and Street Golf, so using our outreach products, and seeing a lot of young people, and then having a percentage of those young people come back to the golf club and having sessions at the golf club. So the pros doing all that great work, but nobody actually within kind of the hierarchy of the golf club actually knows that it's happening. So quite a big disconnect between golf professional and golf club. So the pro, he or she is, they're working extremely hard to deliver and get all these young people within golf. But then when those kids get back to the golf club, there isn't necessarily the support from the golf club to help engage those kids into becoming maybe regular golfers on the golf course or becoming members of the golf club. Mm-hmm. So kind of that's the theme that I see across the county, kind of made up of those points that I've just explained. But as a charity, we try and do. We've got various products or toolkits that we try and use to help golf clubs and golf pros to try and get those kids involved back at the golf club and retained within it. So I've just got. I'm just looking at my notes here. So one of the things that we've got is it's called the Box of Tricks. So it's one of our toolkits. Now this toolkit is free for any golf club within the country, and it is basically it's a retention toolkit. So it's aimed at getting those young people at the golf club. It's aimed at moving them through the pathway and hopefully getting them to come out the other side as members or regular golfers. So it's a tool. It's basically, to explain it simply, it's basically a box full of cards which have got ideas on for golf clubs and golf pros to run, and they include play elements, skill elements, social elements, and marketing elements. And what I would do with that is I would go in and see a golf club, and we would have all of the key stakeholders around the table, and we would discuss, there's all these juniors here within the golf club. What can we do to get them playing more? What can we do to convert those kids that are maybe members of the golf club, but you never see them? And what could we do to get those kids that are in coaching actually coming up to the golf club and possibly becoming members of the club? So that's in effect what the box of tricks is. I mean, if you go on the website, it's got a bit more information about it, breaking down what it does. But like I said, the main aim is to help retain juniors within golf clubs, regardless of where they are in the pathway. So regardless if they're already a member and they're kind of in the stay element already, or if they're in the learn phase and we want to get them through into membership, or if they're in the start phase and we want to get them back to the golf club, learning the game through by having group lessons or individual lessons with a PGA Pro.
Mm-hmm. What's a couple of examples of these ideas?
Yeah, sure. So I'll pick out one of my favourite ones from play, and this one particularly looks at maybe those kids that are in coaching, but potentially haven't had the chance yet to go out on the golf course. Now, obviously, if a junior's in coaching and they don't get the chance to go out onto the golf course, after a while they're gonna get a bit bored and a bit disengaged, and we're going to lose them. So this particular play card looks at creating short course competitions. So running things like your flag 50s or flag 30s, playing a hole from 100 yards, or a junior developing their own golf course, or playing the length suitable for them, depending on how far, for example, they hit their 7-iron. So if they hit their 7-iron 90 yards, a par 3 for them would be 90 yards long. If they hit their driver 100 yards and they hit their 7-iron 90 yards, and a par 4 for them would be 190 yards. And then if they hit their driver 100 yards, their 7-iron 90 yards, and then their wedge 10 yards, a par 5 for them would be 200 yards. So it just helps to give golf clubs some more ideas, instead of just the traditional thing. The kids go out and play either 18 holes or they play 9 holes. So it just aims to help give golf clubs more of an idea, and it helps to break down how this particular card could work for regular golfers, how it could work for non-regular golfers, and how it could work for getting young people into a junior membership. Because importantly, we want to see those kids in coaching having a go on the golf course, because then there's a reason for them to join the golf club as some sort of member, or some sort of an academy member, instead of just coming for coaching for, let's say, 5 years, never going out on the golf course, getting bored of it, and never playing golf again.
I imagine it's a nice tool just to brainstorm with everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean, some of the chats that I have with pros, in particular, people like Phil Akers, who you've had on a podcast before, and a couple of the other pros locally that do a lot of good work junior coaching wise. It's really good to kind of talk to them, and I will openly say that I take ideas off of them, and I'm sure they will openly say they take ideas off of me. It's all about sharing best practice and seeing what we can do to kind of get more of the juniors kind of playing golf and sustained within the sport.
If I'm a pro based in England and I think about like either setting up a junior coaching or maybe developing it, and I'm gonna call you guys, so how can you help me as a golf coach?
Yeah, cool. So what we could do is we can, along with the club support officer from England Golf, the myself or my colleagues, we can come and see your golf club, and we can put into place what we call a junior action plan. So we can have a look at, and this junior action plan is quite comprehensive. So we will have a look and see if you meet the minimum requirements to become what we call a HSBC Golf Route Centre. So a HSBC Golf Route Centre basically entitles you to get to receive funding to pay for the pro's time to do outreach work, or to pay to potentially buy equipment as well. So we would come and see your club, and we would go through every kind of detail you can think of. So we'll have a look to make sure that you as the pro have got a DBS, which is like a disclosure and barring service, so formerly known as the CRB. We'll come and have a look and make sure that the pro has got the necessary safeguarding and protecting children requirements. We'll come and have a look at the golf club's child protection policy. We'll come and help you make sure that your welfare officer at the golf club has got all the necessary requirements as well. So from a child protection policy, we'll come and help your golf club do that, make sure that that's all in place, and within the golf club, everybody knows what they're doing with that. We will then also come and discuss what are the priorities within the golf club. So we'll have a look and see, like, really kind of delve in and have a look and see as a golf club, what are your priorities towards junior golf? What do you want your golf club to achieve? Instead of us just coming over and basically handing out some money, we're going to put a plan in place, and then from that plan, from your priority, create the plan, and then from the plan, provide the funding necessary. So some priorities would be, what kind of consultation are golf clubs having with the juniors and the parents to try and understand what they want to see. Other areas would be, what are the golf club doing in regards to junior section planning? What activities have they got planned for the whole of the junior section and the different segments of the junior section? Kind of what volunteer requirements are needed, what training's required, safeguarding and protecting young people. What's the golf club doing to market their junior coaching, market their taster days, market their junior membership, and then obviously what are they doing to recruit more kids to start golf? What are they doing to get more kids learning golf, and what are they doing to get more kids staying within golf? So pretty comprehensive stuff. And then what we'll do is, with our knowledge as development officers, is we will then be able to provide them with contacts that could, I have to reiterate, could potentially help them get into schools. Obviously, some of these contacts don't always have the answers, but we could provide them with contacts. So they're called school games officers. So we could provide them with contact details for school games officers to help them get into schools. We can then also provide them with marketing literature and promotional material, such as posters, or if they wanted to go into a school, what would that offer look like? Because we've got to make sure that the offer is appealing to schools, and it kind of meets all of the criteria that schools are going to want to see. So we will go in and provide examples of that to schools. And then along with that, we'll look at, from those kids that you see within the schools, how or what are you going to do to get them back to the golf club? Because obviously it's all well and good seeing a load of children at a school, but we want to be able to get a percentage of those kids back to the golf club, having a go at the golf club. So we will have, from our experiences, we will help the pro put in place a offer that is going to engage children, but then also give those children the opportunity to come back to the golf club. So examples could be, let's take your typical primary school offer, which is basically the golf pro will go in and deliver some taster sessions within the school. So that could be curriculum time, non-curriculum time. And then from there, those kids that are interested, the golf pro will set up a club within that school. So let's say they set up a 5-week club. 3 of the sessions will take place at the school, and then the last 2 sessions will take place at the golf club. After those 5 sessions, it's then up to the golf pro, the golf club, the coordinators that are helping the golf pro to get those kids signed up into regular coaching. Whether that be on a midweek evening or at a weekend, to move those kids from the start phase into the learn phase back at the golf club. We can also provide funding. For example, what's been quite popular this last year is a lot of golf clubs do things like a lot of golf clubs do open days, just kind of basic generic open days for men and women to come and join the golf club as a member. So we've had a lot of golf clubs doing, for example, junior open days. So advertising them through Facebook adverts, paid Facebook advertising, through their social media accounts, through local contacts that they make within schools, or through any other young people groups that they're working with. And we can provide funding for pros to just run open days at their golf club, in which kids come along. It's kind of skipping out the school bit, if that makes sense. They promote a junior open day. There's sessions happening at the club which are free of charge for kids to come to. They come to that. If they like golf, then they sign up to the follow-on coaching offer that the pro decides to put on, which we can fund for as well. We can go in and really help a golf club kind of come up with a comprehensive plan. But obviously, we have to keep within our charitable aims and why we were set up by Sir Henry Cotton, and that is obviously to provide opportunities for young people within schools to have a go at golf. Now, just in regards to funding, so when you become a HSBC Golf Route Centre, you can receive funding for kind of like primary school based stuff, secondary school based stuff, Feel Inspired, which is kind of disability projects. Satellite clubs, which is based from young people out of curriculum time over the age of 11 and targeting specifically those kids that are inactive, and kind of within that primary and secondary funding, you can use that to pay for a pro's time to run taster days, club events at the golf club. So like I said, that last year was particularly kind of quite popular amongst pros, and had kind of a lot of good input then back to the golf club. So what we then look to do for those clubs that are delivering stuff within schools, we've got two products. So we've got Try Golf, which is basically probably everybody's seen them. It's plastic club softballs. Kind of cone-based related games, along with whatever else the golf pro wants to throw in. So I know that my Try Golf sessions were, we had hurdles out there, agility ladders, targets, using school benches, using school gym mats, using mini Sabutio football goals, using hoops to chip balls through, using a whole lot of different kind of stuff. But Try Golf, so we've got Try Golf. If anybody's interested in looking into that a bit more, then you can kind of get that off of a website called Davy Sports, which is like within England is kind of your typical one-stop shop for all things primary school and secondary school sports related. And then secondary school wise, we've got our product which is called Street Golf, which in effect is pretty much a proper golf club, along with a proper sized golf ball, obviously except for the compression of them, so they wouldn't break any glass if they got hit against anything. But that's kind of aimed at giving a secondary school pupil a truer experience of what golf is, so that when they then go back to the golf club, it's kind of not so much of a jump from being in a school environment to back to the golf club. And again, all of that stuff can be found on the Davy Sports website. And we also run workshops. So myself and my other colleagues, as the development officers, we will run workshops for golf pros, golf club officials, junior coordinators, school teachers. We will run workshops for them to attend to get the upskilling and or experience within Try Golf and Street Golf. So we've got so that's kind of what we can also help to provide with pros for them to deliver their outreach work. So that's kind of like the start phase of what we like to see as an organisation. And obviously the learn phase is back at the golf club with the junior enrolling on a coaching program, a structured coaching program. So in regards to that, we've also then got another product or another tool, which is called the Junior Golf Passport. So this is it's a structured learning program which the pro delivers at their golf club, and it is the kids then enroll on it, and it's seen as being the way for that child to best learn the basic principles of golf, to help them improve and to thus then effectively get them out playing on the golf course. So it's similar to you've had Tom Devine on speaking about his fuel program. You've got some other junior golf programs out there as well. We just happen to offer the Junior Golf Passport, and clubs can sign up to that. It costs them £100 sterling a year to be a Junior Golf Passport user. And along with that, they will get all of the physical resources, or should I say, a number of physical resources. They will also get the pro and the junior currently will also get access to an online profile and an online element to it. And they will also get provided with marketing resources for them to then market their sessions. And that's kind of like that's a core feature of our program in regards to being able to get kids back to the golf club and learning the sport to then hopefully progress them through into the stay phase within the golf club. So we like to see golf clubs doing that. It's a program that we are currently or hopefully in the process of going through with a bit of an update with it. So we're looking to change some elements of it, and just kind of looking to continuously develop it so it's fit for what pros like to see. It's fit, most importantly, for the young people using it, and also parents can see the benefit of their child being on it. So we're going through a process of updating that. But if you have a look across the country, we've got roughly there's pretty much, I'd say, well over 350, 400 clubs currently using the Junior Golf Passport. So our aim is to maintain those numbers, but also to try and get those numbers even higher.
Mm-hmm. So a few questions in regards to what you just said. One would be, so you said that your main program in the start phase is going into schools or just doing the open days. It's an interesting topic. Is during the last few interviews I did, it's cropped up quite a lot with people saying that sometimes they don't get enough interest out of school coaching, or they don't do it at all, or to the other almost extreme. I just spoke to Neville Perman Best, whose company Brighton Junior Golf. Their main business is junior school coaching, but as a business, so like doing it for profit. I was interested to hear what sort of results do you tend to get from schools coaching, and do you tend to hear the same things?
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to every coin. I mean, obviously there are some golf clubs or some golf pros that do outreach work and don't see any kids back at the golf club. But then on the other hand, I've got a lot of clubs that I work with that do a lot of schools work and have got, they get a really good percentage of kids back to their golf club. I think in regards to schools work, it all depends on how the golf club, how the pro build that relationship with the school and how they set it up. So I'm just thinking, for examples, research shows that when a kid has an experience of golf at the golf club, so when they go through the gates of the golf club, there's a high percentage that they will stay within golf, i.e. go on to further coaching. So a lot of the things that I try to work with clubs is them actually setting up some sessions with schools, initially going into the school and doing a taster, but then from there the school have the sessions at the golf club. So it's that golf club targeting specific schools which are within close proximity of the golf club, and offering them sessions back at the golf club, because that then a child is going to get a proper true experience of what golf is. If they like the pro, if they like the surroundings, then they're hopefully going to want to do the follow-on offer, which is junior coaching at the golf club of an evening or of a weekend. The other thing to look at is the pro, and I think some pros probably won't admit to this. Are the sessions that they've run, are they actually engaging enough? Are they good? Are they fun? Are they enjoyable? Are they meeting that child or that young person's needs? I've certainly seen some horror stuff delivered by golf pros towards juniors. So I kind of think pros maybe need to, instead of, a lot of pros go, well, I've done schools work and nothing happened. My question back to them is what did you do? Was it engaging? And I think some pros kind of need to just kind of reflect more on the sessions that they've done, and write down stuff, think back to what they've done, and was their session good enough? Because I think if they were to look at it honestly, they might, if they were to look back on it, they might do things a bit differently. Is that why they potentially haven't seen kids back at the golf club? It could be the session wasn't engaging enough, or was their follow-on marketing any good? From my own personal experience, when I was working at before this job, I was working at Leamington and County Golf Club in Warwickshire. I was going into primary schools. I was going into secondary schools. I had primary schools come into the golf club. I had secondary schools come into the golf club. We then had a nice throughput from kids doing those school programs, joining into the regular coaching on a Saturday and coming through to the golf club, and then going out and playing on the course. I personally think, from my experience, it's highly, highly dependent on the pro, their ability to run kind of an engaging and appropriate session for young people. And then also, what is their follow-on offer? What are they doing to entice or to engage those young kids back to the golf club? Just giving a flyer to a kid ain't really going to do the job, is it? Because that kid's going to turn it into a paper aeroplane, and it's going to be gone. It's never going to find its way home. So it's really knuckling down and actually getting with that child. Every child has a key decision maker in their life, i.e. parents, mum, dad, grandparents, auntie, uncle, or guardian. So pros and golf clubs need to look at what they can do to engage the key decision maker within that young person's life. So a lot of the stuff that I used to do within schools, I would then go back to the school. And at the end of the day, let's say, I'd ask the school, is it all right if I come back at the end of the day? And then I would then hand out promotional material to the decision maker. And that way you then have a much better follow on from kids coming back to the golf club, rather than just doing some sessions in the school and giving the flyer straight to the kid. You got no chance. It's never going to work. And I discuss this a lot in my meetings with pros and golf clubs, and I just think that sometimes they need to go about their model. They need to go about their model a little bit differently. Instead of doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results, what can they do differently to try and change the results that they get? And engaging with the key decision maker is a lot of things that pros miss out on. And if a pro was to listen to this and kind of take some bits from it, I would get them to ask that question to themselves: what are they doing to engage the decision maker within that young person's life to get them then back to the golf club? So across the board, I know great pros that do a load of school stuff, have got loads of kids back at the golf club through their school's work, have got sessions happening at the golf club, where schools are bringing children to the golf club, and then they are then providing that follow-on through the coaching. But at the same time, we can also cater for those coaches that maybe don't want to do schools coaching. Maybe they want to advertise it through social media and do taster days. We can provide that opportunity. As you know, we can certainly work with them to help them in doing that as well. So I would say as a charity, as an organisation, yes, we've got our roots, and we need to stick to them. But also at the same time, we are as a group highly flexible and really adaptable to try and meet the golf clubs or the pros' needs. My main bit would be if pros are listening, have a look at what your offer is within schools. Is it actually any good? Is it getting through to the right people? It's all well and good going into the school and seeing 100 kids. Great, but we want to see 100 kids, and we want to make sure that information, that follow-on offer, gets through to 100 parents or 100 guardians, 100 decision makers, to make sure that we see them back at the golf club, enrolled within coaching, whether that be the junior golf passport or whether that be a coaching program that a pros using. We are flexible to work with any golf club.
Awesome. Just a quick note on what you said about the gear. I'm using it myself, the Tri-Golf and Golf Extreme. I really like it. For people not from the UK, you can still get them from a sister company of Davy Sport called, I think, Findle International or Findle Education.
Okay, great. Yeah.
It's quite easy to get as well. One question, you mentioned that you organize workshops. I was interested in what sort of education or what topics do you cover specifically for coaches when you run those?
Yeah, so they pretty much our coaching or our education programs pretty much cover the tools that we have available to pros. So we have a Tri-Golf workshop, which is it's a 2-hour long workshop. Like I said, it's open to pros, club officials, junior organisers, level 1 coaches, level 1 PGA coaches, coordinators, teachers. It's pretty much open to anybody. That's 2 hours. It literally costs £20, which is nothing. Their pros will get CPD points, and all that attend will leave with what we call which is like a Tri-Golf manual. I don't know if you've seen one of them. It's basically it's a workbook, which aims to help provide the person delivering the Tri-Golf sessions with some ideas as to what sessions would look like. Same within our street golf. Again, the street golf workshop, it's 2 hours long. Same costs, again, same amount of CPD points are allocated. It's open up to the same people, and again, they leave with a street golf resource. We've then got the what we call school games activators. So that the school games activators workshop or education is basically for young people, so students, children, providing them with training if they were to lead on a school games, Tri-Golf or street golf event. So again, it's a 2-hour workshop, but it's aimed specifically at young leaders, providing them with the skills and the understanding for them then to go and lead at a school games Tri-Golf tournament or a school games street golf tournament. We've also got, I'm just trying to think because there's that many. We've also got a junior golf passport one. So that one's 4 hours long. Again, open up to PGA pros and coordinators within golf clubs. And that's a 4-hour workshop. And that runs through the resource, all the resources that come with it, the online element to the website, both from a young person's perspective, but also from a coach's perspective. A little bit of practical outside, showing them how some of the games and how some of the skills challenges within it are set up. And again, CPD points are on offer for that. So we've got that. What else have we got? The club activators, so the boxer tricks. So we've got the boxer tricks workshop, which is again 4 hours long. Open up to pros, club coordinators, kind of the hierarchy within golf clubs, and the same as with the junior golf passport workshop. Bit of kind of sitting down around the table, having a chat. Really kind of it's probably one of my favorite workshops, because it really gets golf clubs and golf pros having conversations that they've never had previously before. So it's really good. That's a really good workshop that I enjoy, and it gets the golf club actually measuring and rating all of the elements of their junior section. So rating what's the social element of the junior section like, what's the play element of the junior section like, how do we market the junior section? What kind of rating do we give that? And what's the skill element of the golf club like? So we've got it's called the Club Activators Workshop, but it's basically the Box of Tricks workshop. So we've got that as well. And then kind of other educational wise is the HSBC Golf Roots Coaches Network Facebook page, which is where we post topics each week to try and get pros to engage with us and talk about. Other pros post videos or ask questions on them. We try to get the other pros engaged for them to learn from. And then within our regions, all of the RDOs, so there's 10 RDOs altogether. Within our regions, we've all got a group of coaches, about 15 coaches, and we try to get together twice a year to discuss various topics as well. So that's kind of a good opportunity for a lot of pros to do networking with each other, and for us to talk about kind of what we're looking to do as a charity moving forward. But what do you guys on the front line delivering it week in, week out, year on year? What do you think? Is it any good? What would you improve, or what would you like to see?
It sounds like there's no downside to getting in touch with you. Very little cost or no cost involved, and you can only get some good things out of it.
Correct. Yeah, it's a no-brainer really. Even if you have a meeting and you just do it, you just go through an action plan. It's still gonna hopefully give the pro or the golf club a bit of a better insight as to maybe what they could do. And just you mentioned about you said about Try Golf and being able to get it from a Davies partner. Just maybe those people that are listening, they might want to keep an eye out, because there will be some developments with Try Golf. I'm not gonna say anything, but it might be worth pros and clubs just keeping an eye out, because there is some developments moving forward with that.
Awesome. My last question would be: I'm sure you've seen many coaches implementing this stuff. My question is, have you seen some characteristics of coaches, let's say successful and unsuccessful coaches? So as in, someone reaches out to you, and some people are successful, some people are not. Have you found something that improved the chances in a way?
Yeah. I mean, one of the questions I ask pros is, are you 100% into junior coaching? Are you going to give it everything that you've got? If you get knocked down, like if you go into a school and you don't see any kids come back, are you just going to say that didn't work and put your head in the sand, or are you going to dust yourself down and get back on it and try and do something else? That is the key thing I see. If I ask a pro, if they're 100%, are they 100% into it? Do they want to do it? If you get the slight hesitation, if they don't go yes straight away, you know that they're not the right coach. There has to be that burning desire with inside him or her to actually be able to want to do it, to see that back at their golf club. So I would say burning desire to want to be able to do it. Actually have a bit of personality. There are some pros out there who unfortunately do not have much of a personality. And when it comes to junior coaching, that is not going to do you any good, because you're not going to be able to connect with the kids. You're not going to be on a level with them. You've got to be able to relate to them. You've got to talk to them about, whatever interests they might have, as younger kids. So like if I think in my coaching at the minute, kind of a big thing is talking about the new Nintendo console, because all the kids have got that. So, I'm luckily enough in that I'm a big kid and I've got one of them as well. So I can relate to them and talk to them about that. It really helps to kind of build that rapport with them and talk to them about something that is that they're engaged with, and kind of we then, particularly in the sessions that I run, we then just let golf get in the way, if that makes sense. Because I'll be talking to a kid, I'll be talking to him about Mario Odyssey, the game, and I'll be asking him questions about or designing it. He'll be designing a game around it, and he's thinking about the game, but at the same time he's playing golf and he's learning about golf. A huge key is being able to relate to them, having a golf club that support you and want you to, yes, grow your business, because there's no beating around the bush. If you're good at junior coaching, you can make a good living from it. And as a whole, as an organization, we want to see golf pros making a living out of doing junior coaching. So having a golf club that support you, being able to make revenue from it to support the lifestyle that you want to do, and finally, having that, being able to build that link with, I'll go back to it again, being able to build that link with the decision maker. Having that, being able to have discussions with those parents, being able to build a relationship with those parents is what is going to help you to keep that junior engaged within golf for hopefully the start phase, the learn phase, and the stay phase. If you're not seeing these parents, if these parents are just dropping the kids off and leaving, you want to try and get them engaged within the session, or getting them staying, or having some sort of conversation with them to maybe help put them at ease, find out why are they dropping the kid off and then leaving straight away. Good coaches engage kid and parent or guardian. If you get them two together, you're gonna be able to basically retain the child within golf, within your coaching, and then hopefully progress them through into wherever the next stage may be within golf. Obviously, as a charity, we're not looking for every single kid to come in here and go on to be a county player, an international player, a European tour player. We're very much trying to give kids an experience and help them to enjoy the playing, but then also the social benefits of golf for a long period of time, hopefully for most of their lives. There's always going to be points where kids are going to drop out of a sport, but hopefully they'll then come back into it. Or you might have young people that just stay in it the whole time. I know I've stayed in it the whole time from when I started golf till now. I've always been in it. I've never dropped out of it. So like the good pros do they do those things well that I've bullet pointed there. Do you want me to talk about what I see in maybe the pros that could improve?
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of like attitude, mentality towards junior coaching. It's kind of a culture, isn't it? Within junior coaching, it's kind of just seen as the assistant's job to do. That's kind of like a growing theme, which is arguably it's one of the most important phases within the journey of golf for anybody, is kind of at that beginning, at that junior phase. Because if you can get them to love golf from that age, then you've got a golfer for hopefully the rest of their lives. So, if there's a I don't know, a head pro or a director of instruction, whatever they call them these days, if there's any of them listening, maybe ask yourselves, why aren't you doing junior golf coaching? Do you think you're too good for it? So maybe having more kind of pros with a bit more experience doing it. Because to kind of a lot of the stuff I tend to see from maybe those assistants, not all of them, some of them, is kind of they do it. They're not really, their heart's not really in it. They're just doing it because they've been told to do it. They haven't got that desire inside them to want to, have, I don't know, 60 kids back at the golf club in coaching with 60 of them in membership. They're not interested in that. They just want to go and do a little bit, make it look as if they're doing something, and they're quite happy and content with that. So they haven't got the desire. Maybe it's been thrown onto the assistants when maybe other pros could potentially do it. And also they haven't got that link with their golf club. They're working so separately from the golf club or from the owners of the facility. You know, you need to try and work cohesively as one to help engage those kids, but also provide them with the necessary element or the necessary progression to keep them then retained within golf, to keep them playing golf. You know, if them playing golf is coming for one lesson on a Saturday a week, they come for the lesson on a Saturday, they go home, the clubs go in the cupboard, and they don't come out until the next Saturday. That's where, as a golf coach, you need to think, right, what can I do? Or as a club, as a junior organizer, as a coordinator, what can we do so that kid gets his clubs out more? And in those pros that could improve, you don't see that. They're just content on that one child coming for that one session a week. They're not really fussed about seeing that kid maybe twice a week, or maybe seeing that kid for one lesson on the Saturday, but then they're out playing on the Wednesday evening.
Sure.
So trying to provide that follow on, trying to get that kid engaged all the time. And obviously that might not necessarily come from the pro. That might have to come from the golf club, but the pro can certainly input into that to give the golf club a better picture of what they would like to see. And within the pros that could improve, you don't see those elements that I've just spoken about.
Interesting. That's some great points, actually. Is there something that you'd like to touch on? Something that we may have missed? From a charitable organisation, there's so much that we do. I just wanted to talk about it's a national programme that the Golf Foundation and England Golf are doing, which is called Girls Golf Rocks. So it's happening in 20 counties across the country, and it's basically a program designed to get more girls playing golf. So it's a bit of a model here. So this is the model that we're using across the country, and it's being used for Girls Golf Rocks, but it could be used for anything. So it's hopefully an idea that pros might want to take away with them. So Girls Golf Rocks is basically there's 4 clubs in each county, in each of the 20 counties. Sorry. There are some more clubs in the bigger counties like Yorkshire. So Yorkshire's quite a big county, but it's basically 4 golf clubs. They run a taster day at their golf club, and then from that taster day, the girls can then sign on to 5 weeks worth of coaching at the cost of £14. So that 5 weeks, that £14 gets them 5 weeks of coaching. It also gets them a free US Kids 7-iron. And then it also gets them an invitation to a final event, which is where all of the 4 golf clubs all of the girls from the 4 golf clubs will get together and we'll kind of have one big celebration. So in my region, we're running that in Staffordshire and Warwickshire this year. And what we've got, quite unique to it, is we've got the county girls within the counties, the county girls squads. We've got them acting as like role models and ambassadors to kind of help out at the taster sessions and at the follow-on coaching and the Par 3 event. That's cool.
So yesterday I was doing some ambassador training for the Warwickshire girls. So I had 14 Warwickshire girls, and we did some young leaders, some ambassador training, and kind of what makes a good role model for them then to implement that to get more girls playing golf within their county. A really simple model, is there anything stopping a golf club or a golf pro doing a model like that? Not really, is there? They can just, advertise, go and do some schools work, or advertise it through Facebook or through however they want to do it. Do a taster day, get as many kids there as possible. Do a follow-on offer, i.e., 5 weeks coaching. Finish it off with an event at the end. At the end of that, make sure whilst your 5 weeks coaching's happening, make sure you're advertising that after this is done, we want them to become in for regular coaching. So advertise whatever coaching opportunities you've got available at your golf club. Advertise whatever junior membership you've got available at your golf club, affiliated or non-affiliated. So we've got that happening. With that as well, the county girls, the ambassador girls, have also done a photo shoot, and their photos will be used on the marketing. So for the Warwickshire marketing take, for example, the photos that they did at their photo shoot are going to be used on the posters. So when the parent or the girls see that, they will then go to a taster session and they'll hopefully see one of the girls that was on the poster that they saw. So we've got that, and then the last point is we've got this thing called Golf Sixes. So I don't know if you might have seen, was it last year or the year before they did the European Tour, did Golf Sixes at Centurion Club?
Yeah, it's an awesome event.
Yep. So we are basically doing that as well in a junior version, which is called Golf Sixes League. So this is where it falls into the kind of the learn element. It's getting those kids that are learning golf out on the golf course playing in a fun and informal team event. So we're running that as well across 2 counties. So we ran it last year in Worcestershire. This year we're running it in Worcestershire and Warwickshire. And all of the other development officers across the country will be doing 2 counties within their region as well. So it's just kind of something else as well that we as a charity are offering, and we can talk to pros about that to see if it would be something that they would like to do. And it just by even having a conversation with us over the phone, and then maybe meeting face to face, it's kind of just showing you the other opportunities that or the other avenues that we can provide. We can provide golf clubs and pros to help them engage with more juniors.
I wish I was based in England just to experience those, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it does feel like sometimes you're driving or you're running around like a headless chicken. But also at the same time, from a pro's perspective, working in the field, they can certainly have a conversation with us, and we've certainly got a lot of stuff that they can pick and choose what they want to use. And certainly provide them with a lot of resources to do. I mean, there are some other bits that we do that we haven't had a chance to talk about, but I'm just thinking time-wise, it's getting on a bit, and I don't want people to be bored of the podcast and turn off. But it's certainly, if you're a pro within England or Wales as well, Scotland, it's certainly worth kind of having a look at who your contacts are. Obviously, the development officers, we only cover England for the Golf Foundation, but there's Wales development, and there's I don't know what the one in Scotland's actually called. Is it Scottish Golf? Maybe there's certainly support out there in Wales and Scotland as well, along in Ireland as well, because we've got clubs in Ireland using the junior golf passport as well. So if there's pros listening in those countries as well, there is kind of the similar things available to them as kind of what we've spoken about within this podcast.
I think the value as well is just in having someone to speak to. As I said, just doing the action plan. Most of the time, not most of the time, but many times coaches are almost on their own when they want to start up a junior academy, and just someone that you can call up or meet up and speak to bounce ideas off each other. I think that's a huge value that you provide.
That's it. It's a really powerful tool, and we can also sometimes act as kind of like the middle person to maybe try and help the pro engage with maybe the hierarchy or people within the golf club as well. And that can also be quite powerful as well. So kind of like as a whole, we are pretty much kind of trying to do a hell of a lot for junior golf, and we are certainly here as an organisation to help as many golf clubs within England as possible to try and get the kind of their junior sections flourishing again, really, or providing that conveyor belt of young people to come into their golf clubs and have a go and hopefully be retained.
Awesome. Paul, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
No problem. An absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for the platform and the opportunity.
This is Wojciech again. Thanks for listening. If you don't want to miss any future episodes in this junior series, subscribe to the podcast or sign up to the mailing list You can find all the links on ParticipationCoaching.com/subscribe. If you have any suggestions on future guests or just any feedback on the podcast in general, feel free to shoot me an email at hi@ParticipationCoaching.com. Thanks for listening again, and I'll hear you next time. Music in this episode came from bensound.com.